1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. That's an alarming statistic. But what if I told you there's something simple, completely natural, and free that could reduce your risk by up to 22%? No expensive supplements, no surgery, no complicated treatments. Here's the controversy. Right now, thousands of men are debating online about whether semen retention is the key to health or if frequent ejaculation actually provides protection. The scientific community has been investigating this for nearly 2 decades, and the results might surprise you. I've analyzed over 10 peer-reviewed studies from Harvard, Oxford, and European medical journals, tracking more than 30,000 men. What I discovered has completely changed how we should think about men's health. In the next 12 minutes, you'll discover the exact numbers backed by science, why this works at the cellular level, and practical solutions for real life, whether you're single, married, or dealing with mismatched libido with your partner. Stay until minute 9, because I'll answer the question everyone's curious about. Does masturbation count, or does it have to be sex? Let's dive into the science. First, let's understand what we're protecting. Your prostate is a gland about the size of a walnut, located just below your bladder, surrounding the urethra, the tube that carries urine out of your body. Think of it as a factory that never sleeps. What's its job? Producing prostatic fluid that nourishes and protects sperm. This fluid makes up about 30% of your semen. The prostate continuously works, manufacturing this fluid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And here's where problems start. After age 40, most men's prostates begin to enlarge, a condition called benign prostatic hyperplasia. This isn't cancer, but it causes annoying symptoms like weak urine stream, frequent nighttime bathroom trips, and difficulty starting urination. But separate from benign enlargement, there's prostate cancer, the second most common cancer in American men. Unlike benign enlargement, this disease can be deadly if not detected early, and this is when our conversation about ejaculation frequency becomes critical. The question researchers asked was simple. Could something as natural as ejaculation actually help prevent this disease? Let's look at what they found. In 2016, researchers published an updated study in the journal European Urology following 31,925 men for nearly 2 decades from 1992 to 2010. This wasn't a small sample. This was massive scale. These men answered detailed questionnaires about their ejaculation frequency at 3 points in their lives, ages 20 to 29, ages 40 to 49, and in the year before the study began. Here's what they discovered. Men who ejaculated 21 times or more per month had significantly lower prostate cancer risk compared to those who only ejaculated 4 to 7 times per month. Let me break this down. If you ejaculate at least 21 times per month, that's roughly 5 times a week or about once every 1.5 days, your risk drops 19% if you're in your 20s and 22% if you're in your 40s. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, 21 times per month or per week? Let me be crystal clear. That's per month, about 5 times per week. We'll talk about whether that's realistic for your life situation later. But first, there's another study that made these numbers even more dramatic. A 2023 study from southern Spain took a different approach. Researchers recruited 456 men who were newly diagnosed with prostate cancer and compared them to 427 healthy men. They asked all these men about their average ejaculation frequency during their 20s, 30s, 40s, and most importantly, in the year before the interview. And here's what's interesting. Men with prostate cancer reported ejaculating significantly less in the year before diagnosis. Let me give you the actual numbers because they're startling. Among men with cancer, only 15% ejaculated 4 or more times per month, but among healthy men, that number jumped to 26%. Now here's the dramatic part. Men ejaculating 4 times per month had 64% higher risk. Men ejaculating 0 to 3 times per month had 138% higher risk. Men who never ejaculated had 271% higher risk. That last number is staggering, and the link was even stronger for advanced aggressive cancers. But before you start planning your calendar, we need to address the main issue. Is this causation or just correlation? Here's a smart question I saw in the comments of similar videos. Could it be that men about to develop cancer simply had less desire to ejaculate? Could the cancer be causing the low frequency rather than than the other way around? This is the classic causation versus correlation problem, and it's a legitimate concern. Here's why the Harvard study addresses this. They tracked men before they developed cancer, in some cases decades earlier. The protective effect was seen for ejaculation frequency measured at ages 20 and 40, predicting cancer risk many years later. But it gets even better. In 2019, Boston University researchers actually examined prostate tissue and discovered something remarkable. Ejaculation frequency affects gene expression. They found that more frequent ejaculation altered the expression of 409 genes and affected 6 different biological processes within the prostate tissue itself. Most significant, a process called ubiquitin-mediated proteolysis, which regulates the cell cycle. This isn't just correlation anymore. There's a biological mechanism at work. Your prostate tissue is actually changing at the molecular level based on ejaculation frequency. So how does this work? Let's talk about the pipes. Scientists call it the prostate stagnation hypothesis. Think of it like this. Your prostate continuously produces fluid. When you don't ejaculate regularly, that fluid just sits there. Sitting in that fluid are cellular debris, potentially carcinogenic secretions, inflammatory substances, and environmental toxins that your body has filtered out. When this mixture sits in your prostate tissue for extended periods, it can cause inflammation and cellular changes that increase cancer risk. Here's my favorite analogy. It's like engine oil. If you never change your oil, old dirty oil breaks down, turns into sludge, and damages your engine. Your prostate works similarly. You need to regularly clean the system. Regular ejaculation does several things. First, it clears out old prostatic fluid. Second, it removes accumulated toxins. Third, it reduces crystalloids in the prostate, which some studies link to cancer. And finally, it decreases inflammatory markers. The Boston study also found that men with higher ejaculation frequency produced more citrate, a key component of semen. Why does this matter? Because low citrate production is actually a distinguishing feature of prostate cancer cells. Your body is literally maintaining healthier cellular function through regular ejaculation. Now, this is where it gets confusing for a lot of guys. You might have heard conflicting advice. Ejaculation lowers testosterone versus ejaculation is healthy. Let's clear this up with science. First, the relationship between testosterone and prostate cancer is complex. Here's what research shows. Men with naturally higher testosterone levels tend to have lower prostate cancer risk. A major 2022 study from Oxford involving over 79,000 men found that higher free testosterone levels were associated with lower cancer risk. For each standard deviation increase in testosterone, overall prostate cancer risk dropped 20% and aggressive cancer risk dropped 23%. But here's the nuance. It's not that ejaculation causes higher testosterone. Instead, men with naturally higher testosterone have higher sex drive, leading to more frequent ejaculation. Think of it as an indicator of good health, not just a cause. Healthy testosterone levels drive sexual desire, which naturally increases ejaculation frequency. Now, does frequent ejaculation temporarily lower testosterone? Slightly, for a few hours. But studies show no long-term depletion. Your body is designed to handle this. Testosterone returns to baseline within 24 hours. The key takeaway: don't worry about ejaculation draining your testosterone. The long-term prostate benefits far outweigh any temporary hormonal fluctuation. All right, let's get practical. You might be thinking, 21 times a month sounds great in theory, but I'm 55 with a full-time job and a tired wife. How is this supposed to work? Here's a realistic guide based on research and biological factors. From 20 to 29 years old, the target is 20 to 30 times per month. Reality is higher testosterone, higher drive. This is typically easy. From 30 to 39 years old, the target is 18 to 25 times per month. Reality is still robust, but work-life balance matters. From 40 to 49 years old, the target is 15 to 21 times per month. This is the golden threshold where Harvard data shows maximum benefit. From 50 to 59 years old, the target is 12 to 18 times per month. Reality is testosterone naturally declining, but still protective. From 60 and older, the target is 10 to 15 times per month. Reality is quality over quantity. Focus on what feels natural. Important. These aren't rigid rules. They're optimal targets. If you're hitting 12 to 15 times monthly and you're over 50, you're still getting significant benefit. I can hear the married guys saying, "My wife and I have sex twice a month. Am I doomed?" No. And here's why, which brings us to the question everyone's been waiting for. The question is, does masturbation count or does it have to be sex with a partner? The answer from the Harvard study is clear. Both count equally for prostate health. The research didn't differentiate between the source of ejaculation, solo or partnered. What mattered was frequency. Now, sex has additional benefits: cardiovascular exercise, intimacy, stress relief, hormonal bonding. But for prostate cancer prevention specifically, masturbation provides the same protective effect. Here's the practical solution for married men or those in relationships. Communication strategy. First, share this video or the research with your partner. Second, explain this is a health issue, not just desire. Third, agree on realistic frequency together. And fourth, supplement with healthy masturbation. There's no shame. Many couples find scheduled intimacy works well, reducing pressure about spontaneity. Maybe that's twice weekly together, plus private time as needed. What about the semen retention crowd? Here's the balanced view. Short-term retention from 7 to 10 days may have benefits for motivation and focus, largely due to placebo effect and discipline. But extended retention beyond 4 to 6 weeks increases your prostate cancer risk based on this data. The sweet spot? Find your own rhythm. Maybe that's a retention cycle followed by regular release. Listen to your body, but don't ignore the science. Let's wrap up with 5 key points. First, 15 to 21 times per month reduces prostate cancer risk by 19 to 22%. Second, the mechanism is real, removing toxins and changing gene expression. Third, both masturbation and sex count equally. Fourth, adjust targets based on your age and life situation. And fifth, this is one factor, not a magic bullet. Critical disclaimer, this does not replace regular screening. If you're over 50 or over 40 with family history, talk to your doctor about PSA testing. And this doesn't substitute for healthy diet, exercise, maintaining normal weight, and avoiding smoking. If you have symptoms like difficulty urinating, pain, or blood, see a doctor immediately. If this was helpful, hit the like button and subscribe to Vitality Digest. We break down health science you can actually use. Want videos on natural testosterone boosting or improving fertility? Comment below. Until next time, take care of your health. It's the best investment you'll ever make.